Excellency, Mr. Ahmed Abu Gheid, the Secretary General of the League of Arab States, Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to start by first commending the choice of the Sustainable Development Week's theme, Together for a Sustainable Recovery. This is highly relevant as we together continue to struggle with the impacts of COVID-19, even as we face other, much more complex challenges. Bringing international, regional, and national partners to the League of Arab States is a demonstration of a multilateralism at work. Cooperation as means to confront our mutual challenges is fundamental to the vision of the United Nations. And before I focus on the main themes of the Sustainability Week, allow me to use the opportunity and appreciate the strategic collaboration between the League of Arab States and the United Nations, aiming to accelerate the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals in Egypt and also in the Arab region. The breadth and the depth of our cooperation is encouraging and promising. It spreads from working together for the most vulnerable, such as refugees and migrants, to technical cooperation on critical sustainable development issues as women's and girls' empowerment, health, water, urbanization, and trade. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in 2015, when the world rallied around the 2030 Agenda for Development, the ambition was great, and hope for a better future while leaving no one behind was at its highest, including in the Arab region. More than 6 years into the 2030 Agenda, we all live in the shadow of uncertainty and exceptionally testing challenges for economies, for people, and also for planet. As a result, hard-won progress in advancing 2030 Agenda, our common agenda, are under serious threat and recovery is slowing down significantly. We are way behind in living up to our Sustainable Development Agenda mantra, leaving no one behind, be it countries or people. The hopes that the 2030 Agenda brought for the future are being tested by deepening poverty and worsening inequality, unequal distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, climate commitments that fall short, ongoing conflict, division, and misinformation, and increasing digital divide. The good news is that there is hope yet, and we can, if there is a will, address these challenges. Problems created by humanity can be solved by humanity, as the UN Secretary General said. Last month, the UN Secretary General, addressing the General Assembly, urged the international community to go into emergency mode and put out a five-alarm fire. By fighting COVID-19 pandemic, reforming the global finance system to ensure just recovery, tackling the climate crisis, putting humanity at the center of the digital world and frontier technologies, and delivering sustainable peace. The Secretary General's report, Our Common Agenda, can be a starting point to address these challenges, including a guidance to action anchored in solidarity and cooperation. I would like this morning to focus especially on two aspects of this common agenda, both highly relevant to the themes of the Sustainable Week. The first is the urgent need to protect our planet. Climate change remains at the top of the UN's agenda. The Common Agenda lays out steps necessary to respond to this global emergency. This includes reducing emissions towards a 45% reduction by 2030 and net zero emissions by 2050. Necessary are also renewed commitments from countries to meet climate promises and increasing the ambition and urgency of actions. This includes stronger national climate plans and delivering on the pledges. This year, Egypt will host COP27. This represents an opportunity to strengthen its role as a global leader in climate action. The COP can also help boost priority climate issues, showcase globally Egypt's flagship initiatives, and strengthen support for climate action at home and also in the region. UN agencies working here in Egypt have already been partnering with the government to strengthen its climate resiliency. We look forward to enhancing these efforts this year and further supporting Egypt's COP27 presidency to build momentum for critical global climate policy and actions. A second component of the joint recovery is ensuring sustainable financing. With this in mind, I very much look forward to the launch of the Financing Sustainable Development of Egypt report later today. It is important to note that globally we have not been recovering together. We are seeing instead a very uneven recovery. According to UN estimates, GDP per capita in Europe and North America will likely almost fully recover by 2023, while recovery will come much later in other regions and for most middle-income countries. A driver of this uneven recovery is access to finance. Differences in fiscal space at the outset of the pandemic led to gaps in national responses, with some countries constrained in their ability to finance stimulus and expand social protection. Pandemic borrowing and higher debt service have further restricted the ability to finance recovery and investment in the SDGs. The Common Agenda of the UN Secretary General calls for both global and national level action. Globally, meeting each partner's ODA, Official Development Assistance, target of 0.7% of GNI would be an important contribution to financing the SDGs. Strengthening the global debt management architecture, including for the middle-income countries, is another priority for the global agenda. At the national level, many countries have been building integrated national financing frameworks as an instrument to link financing to development strategies, strengthen national planning, and align investments with the SDGs. The UN is proud to partner with the government of Egypt to help develop an integrated national financing framework. This will produce a strategy for financing the SDGs and stress mobilizing and targeting expenditures for education, health, and social protection. It will also focus on ensuring gender responsiveness in the budgeting process. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the UN is committed to multilateralism and partnerships as essential tools for helping us confront our most pressing challenges. As I noted at the beginning of my remarks, the theme of the Sustainability Week is very appropriate, as it only through collective action and cooperation that we will recover sustainably and with resilience to withstand the next shocks and health crisis. In conclusion, let me assure you that the United Nations system is ready to work ever closer with the League of Arab States and with a wide range of development partners to unleash the full potential of Egypt and of this very vital region, respond to the aspirations of its youth, and build a better future for all of us. I thank you.